think we can start, and while we have more people joining. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for everyone for joining. One more of our series of webinars that we do here at Lighthouse. It's a pleasure to be here speaking with you, and it's an honor to speak to a so broad audience from all parts of the world. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Ricardo, and I've been working for Lighthouse for 6 years now as a senior business development manager based here in South America and Brazil. And I'll be your speaker today. Prior to joining Lighthouse a few years ago, I've worked several years, more than 10 years, as revenue management manager, head of revenue management in different chains. So I've been working in hospitality business my entire career. First, a lot of years, almost 15 years working in hotels, and now for a few years now working in a technology company serving the hospitality industry the way we do. So I'm not here to speak about me, but speak a little bit about concept and also give a little bit of context on Lighthouse. Lighthouse is the leading commercial platform for the travel and hospitality industry. We have a massive presence worldwide, and we are one of the most fast-growing technology companies in the world, if not the most fast-growing company technology for hospitality business in the world. That growing allowed us to serve right now more than 65,000 hotels worldwide, as I mentioned, in more than 172 countries. And we've been honored really to serve all these hotels with our technologies. And it seems like we're doing a good job because for the past 4 years, we've been rated consecutively with the number one platform, number one tool in different categories, like the best rate shopping and market intelligence solution, the best parity software, the best business intelligence software, and last year, one of the Hotelier's Choice Award from Hotel Tech Award Report. So that's a very proud award that we received, and that states that we're doing a great job when serving all these 65,000 plus hotels. So today we're here to talk about something that I really love. Probably that's the reason I got invited to be here with you guys today, to talk about commercial strategies, right? If we think the reason hotels exist, first of all, they exist to serve and to deliver great guest experience and serve guests that are walking the doors. But one of the things that sustain, or one of the most important things that sustains the hotel is the strategies behind it, right? It's generating revenues, generating profit. So for us, that's the most important thing. That's why we call ourselves a commercial platform, because we run really to serve hotel business as a unified commercial strategy, right? And for us, what exactly does a commercial strategy mean, right? That could be a lot of things. That's something that's only sales related, or what is exactly that? For us, a commercial strategy unites all revenue generating teams, right? So sales, marketing, revenue management, distribution, even operations, right? All those revenue generating teams have to be unified in a united commercial strategy driven by one common goal, whatever that goal is, but it has to be common for all areas, because that creates that unicity in terms of a commercial strategy, right? We're going to get in details on what, for us, exactly what a commercial strategy means and what are the bases for a commercial strategy in a few minutes. So that's the main topic of our webinar, is how to create a unified commercial strategy and what are the elements that are involved in a commercial strategy that is really well fundamented and really solid and unites different areas, different professionals, and different teams. So for us, a commercial strategy is fundamented in 5 key elements. Right? Those 5 key elements, they drive all the decisions in terms of strategies for a hotel or a hotel group or independent hotel, right? If we think about everything we do in terms of commercial and strategies in our daily basis in hospitality, all our decisions and our actions are based in one of those elements, right? Which is being able first to predict demand, to understand how demand is looking like, what is generating that demand, what are the segments or the profile of guests inside that demand level. Once I understood that, is how do I price accordingly to that demand? What are my pricing decisions to match exactly that demand analysis that I've just done, right? And after a good prediction of demand and a good pricing structure and pricing strategy, I need to deliver my rooms, right? I need to put my rooms available to sell, and that comes along with distribution, right? So Once I understood demand, I can make better decisions in pricing. I can make even better decisions on my distribution, right? But all those three elements, they serve a purpose, but it's really important for us in hospitality to quickly be able to analyze if those strategies are working, right? What are the correct paths I need to take? What are the other decisions I need to make to adjust those strategies? That needs to be quick. That needs to be real time. So that's why the element of analysis is really important, right? And also because we're in a competitive business, we need to understand among our peers and our competitors, how are we performing? That's the biggest validation of performance. So the element of benchmarking is very important because that can also feed again all the other elements and see what can I do better in each of those elements. So for us, a commercial strategy involves all those five elements. And those five elements, they don't have owners. So revenue managers, they own the pricing decisions or they own the forecasting. And then sales owns the analysis and other decisions, right? These are all in silos. For us, all different areas, marketing, sales, revenue managers, distribution, they can collaborate in all those five elements to make better decisions, faster decisions. But there's one thing that has to happen for all these teams to be able to work together, which is technology. Technology needs to support that process because with different kinds of technologies, people keep working in silos, right? If I have a revenue manager that he's created his Excel spreadsheet, he's going to be in his office, probably no windows, and then looking into Excel spreadsheets that only he knows how to operate, right? While maybe marketing is looking to a different kind of technology, and then they're in their office making their decisions. Having a commercial centralized platform that unifies all those elements is key importance to really unifying that as a solid strategy and for different teams to be able to collaborate in each of those elements. So we're going to do a quick dive over the next few minutes on what exactly that means. And we're going to go do a deep dive in each of those elements, right? First thing, obviously, demand prediction. I speak with a lot of hotels in my day to day. I have spoken with a lot of hotels, independent hotels, chains, groups in the past 6 years. And one thing I see that's really common is a lot of those hotels or group of hotels, there's a lot of discussions into pricing, right? What pricing decisions are we making? Tactical pricing changes, pricing levels, pricing strategies. But pricing and distribution decisions without truly understanding demand is like reading a book from fifth chapter, right? There's something missing there. There's an important thing missing. For us, and for me personally, demand prediction is when the fundamental stone for all the other strategies. It all starts with demand prediction, right? And for us, predicting demand means is a different concept that what we're used to in hospitality business, right? When we speak about predicting demand in hotels, a lot of people translate that into forecasting, right? Oh, how do you predict demand? Well, revenue management is forecasting. We adapt our strategies based on that forecast. Forecasting is predicting outcome, right? It's not really predicting demand, right? And even if we look at demand, okay, so I'm going to look at my pickup reports, my bookings, my booking curve, my underbooks, and then I'll be able to predict demand. That's good, but that's also, there's a piece missing there, right? If we think about us, when we travel, right? Let's say I need to go to London, right? The first thing I'm going to do is and there's a particular date I need to be there. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to search for flights, right? I'm probably not going to book a hotel room that may be like a non-refundable hotel room without having the certainty when I'm flying there in and out, when my flight is going, and even if I can afford a flight and to be there, right? So I'm going to search for flights. Maybe I'm going to decide on the dates and then I'm going to book my flight. After doing that, I'm going to start, maybe my next decision is where in London do I need to be, right? Based on maybe I have a corporate meeting, maybe I'm attending an event, or maybe I'm just there for leisure and I want to be in a certain location. After deciding that, I start searching for hotels in that area. And then what most of us does, we do a psychological decision in terms of the value that each of those hotels have in terms of proposition and the price they're charging. We make in our minds that balance, and then we make a decision, right? And then that shows up for you in a pickup report. That's why I'm saying that when we have pickup reports or underbooks or booking curves, that's good because that tells a part of the story. but there's an ocean of data happening before that that you're not capturing. And that's happening way before. So there's also a window of opportunity that you can capture that. So for us, when we speak about predicting demand, we speak about pre-booking data that tells you a story way before demand starts materializing in the hotels in a specific market. A few examples of search data could be flight search data. How many people are searching that airport, that main or two, three different airports in that market in that particular day, that particular week, where those people are coming from, where are they searching those flights, right? Hotel search data. Where are those people searching hotels in the market? What areas of the market have a higher potential of demand on that particular day of week? What events are happening? Are conferences, concerts, trade shows, sport events? Where are they happening in the city, right? And then obviously house pricing and availability, because that tells a story. If prices are raising and availability is dropping, it's probably there's demand being materialized in that market. And once you have that power of doing that, you can start looking at different levels of demand. You can look into, okay, if I combine flight search data, hotel search data, short-term rental search data, which is a very important metric to understand potential demand. If I look into price variations for that market, when I compile all those data, I can start looking into different levels of demand, right? So now I'm not just using last year's data or pickup or booking curve to understand how demand is looking like. I can start looking into demand up front. And that's showing you already way before your normal booking window of 45 days, 90 days, 60 days, whatever your market is. But that's already showing as a potential demand for the future. Looking at levels of demand is very important because that's going to drive a lot of the pricing distribution decisions that we're going to comment in a few minutes. But also understanding what's inside that demand is very important. Where's that demand coming from in terms of flight search data? Where are people searching from? What's the length of stay? Those different key markets are willing to stay in the city for that particular period. So in different kinds of channels, what's the pattern? Where are people searching more flights in metas and OTAs? Where are people maybe more corporate business searching flights in the GDS? Same thing. Where are people searching for hotels? What's the difference between a booking window right now? Oh, there's a lot of people searching flights on 20 days from now. There's not much people searching hotels for now. I just spoke about the customer journey. That is a pure window of opportunity for you to maximize strategies for that particular day. Understanding levels of demand and components of demand is very important. So for a particular day on your market, what's the geographic distribution of demand or potential demand for that day? And you can also look into what are the drivers. We know the most important driver of demand for any markets are events, conferences, trade shows, concerts, sports events. But now I'm also understanding what's generating those different levels of demand throughout my market. Right. If I have all those elements, then I'll be able to really be much more assertive when I start looking into pricing, because I can look at, origins in terms of key markets that are feeding that demand for that day. I can adapt my distribution accordingly to that pattern, as I can also adapt my pricing strategies for that day. So that's why I love speaking about demand prediction, especially pre-booking data, because that tells a story that you can't tell without looking at that data. I'm going to give a quick example just to end here this concept of predict demand, right? Let's say you have on your market on a Friday night of November, a Taylor Swift conference, right? Concert, sorry. The market is full, 100%. All hotels are packed. And then on a week of March, you have a medical trade show. Again, the city is full again. If you look at only the level of demand, both dates, the city is the same, the market is the same. But what's inside, how people buy, what's the profile, the persona that's inside that demand for that particular day, they're completely different. And then strategies have to be completely different. So that's why I say that once you really are able to predict demand, you can do all the other decisions and all the other strategies, right? Who's traveling? When should you launch promotions? So marketing can participate in predicting demand along with revenue managers. Sales can also understand future potentials of demand, because then they can look into more carefully into group business on when they would accept groups or yes or not, where to target that audience, how marketing can be more assertive in targeting that audience that's coming from the city. And one of the main drivers that results of understanding demand is pricing, right? Once you have the confidence of understanding demand and how demand is looking like, now you have all the elements you need to be able to price. You understood demand, you know how your hotel is in occupancy. What's missing in that equation is looking a little better on how the marketing is performing for that day. What are your competitors doing? Right. So you understood there's kind of a level of demand for that particular period. We can see demand here in gray. For those different demand periods, how your competitors are pricing, right? What's your price among your competitors? What are the opportunities you may have? Which dates that are high demand periods that you can improve or increase your pricing strategies? What are movements of pricing your competitors are doing that you haven't yet spotted and maybe you can adapt? So first pillar of pricing, understanding demand, understanding how your pickup, your occupancy is. And then the second pillar is understanding what your competitors are doing, right? It's very important for you to understand, okay, am I overpriced? Am I underpriced? What do I need to adjust for that day? What's demand for that day looking like? And do my adjustments accordingly, right? That's what I call tactical pricing decisions, right? You're tactically going day by day and making pricing fluctuation decisions. But there's more a strategic approach to pricing, which is what are your competitors? What's the market doing in terms of different pricing strategies, right? Are there competitors using LOS as a way of giving discounts based on what they've seen in terms of demand that the patterns of LOS, potential patterns of LOS are? Are hotels or competitors giving discounts based on platform like mobile in different channels, right? Are hotels giving more aggressive members discount for different kinds of channels, right? This is all strategy, right? This is not the tactical day by day pricing fluctuation. This is a more strategy approach on pricing, right? Again, we looked at demand and then we saw key markets that are feeding the demand for that day. Is there any POS discount that competitors are doing? Maybe you can also do, or you can be more aggressive in certain areas. So understanding the strategy of pricing is also really important, not just looking into tactical pricing decisions, right? A lot of people we speak with, I personally speak with, look into pricing. Yes, we're changing our prices. We have a good, well-set strategy for pricing based on demand or based on pickup, based on occupancy levels. But these are two different things. Pricing tactics is one thing. Pricing strategy is a completely different thing. And also looking in front, again, I mentioned about a larger window of opportunity when you understand potential demand for future months. That can prepare your pricing strategies for all those future months. You can pre-stat a strategy and then you can adjust only the tactics when you get up to a closer and a shorter booking windows. And then you can also look into what's really affecting that demand, right? Oh, it's a big trade show. How am my price? Again, getting back to the Taylor Swift example versus a medical trade show, maybe younger people coming from a Taylor Swift conference, they're more sensible to pricing than doctors and people related to the medical area attending a trade show. The LOS is different. People going from a one-night conference, they're probably staying a lower length of stay that people attending a 4 days trade show, right? So all those things need to be in mind when we look into pricing. That's why we believe all those elements are combined, because you can see how interconnected those things are, because one thing's deliver better outputs to the other one. So once we understood that, we can have different discussions. And again, these are not decisions that are for the revenue managers to do, right? If I should offer LOS discounts, what kind of promotion should we do? Marketing can give a lot of good inputs on that area. Distribution, even sales, operations can look, I've seen this, and that. I think this could work based on the interactions we're having with guests. So understanding, first of all, what kind of strategies can you apply? Why are you applying those strategies? What your competitors are doing? Because again, we live in a competitive world. It's very important when we speak about pricing. Once we understood really well pricing and our, first of all, we understood really well our demand, and we understood the different levels of demand, what composes that demand each day, what factors are generating that demand. I've set my pricing strategies. Now I can also, or simultaneously, I can also make distribution decisions. Decisions are very important, and they have a few components and concepts that are fundamental nowadays. First thing is connectivity, right? Connectivity ensures you're agile in making your decisions go to market, right? We need to change this pricing decisions. Okay, all my systems are interconnected, all my channels, so I can be really quick in bringing that new decision to the market, right? There's also a second component, which is channel diversity, right? There's multiple channels that affect different key feeding markets and expose your inventory to different kinds of markets that maybe you're not able to expose directly through only digital marketing budget, right? So having a diversity of channel is really important because that, again, remembering on understanding demand, once you're understood for that particular week, month, or particular event on that day, the key feed markets are Europe or APAC or the US, you can adapt your distribution if you have that channel diversity to expose your inventory to that specific market. And we all know that also one very important metric of distribution is mapping, right? Mapping means that all the information that's coming from your CRS is correctly incoming in your management system. That avoids a lot of mistakes, that avoid a lot of errors, that guarantees quality of data. And also that guarantees guest satisfaction when they arrive, everything's correct, but also employee satisfaction, because I'm sure reservations team, they would love being a consultant for selling rooms than just inputting manually reservations that weren't mapped correctly through the CRS, for example, to the PMS, right? And then if you understood really well demand and you really set your pricing strategies, you have a strategy in place. And that strategy guarantees that your distribution strategies will be executed because you started with a plan. You know exactly what channels you want to focus. You want to kind of different rate types you want to use for that particular period. You have that strategy in place. And now you can execute that through distribution. But again, one of the most important metrics and concepts for that is connectivity. If you have everything interconnected, all those tactical pricing adjustments or all those pricing strategies that I've just commented, they're faster taken to the market, right? Every time you delay a decision in a day, you're already behind the curve. In a week, you're way off the curve. The data analysis has to be in real time, and those decisions have to be executed in real time. And connectivity between channel managers here at all your sales channels, your pricing decisions, and your PMS have to be interconnected. So that's really, really important. And then we go to the very, very important element, which is doing your analysis, right? Understood my demand. I'm doing great pricing decisions and I'm distributing very well. How you know that, right? You need to analyze, you need to look at different metrics, and you need to start understanding what's really going on, right? When you unify your analysis in different teams in different areas with marketing, revenue, with sales, you streamline the business, right? Everyone's collectively looking at the same metrics. They're understanding different nuances of the business, and they're probably making better decisions because of that, right? What we see here as a huge trend in terms of analysis for the future is understanding total revenue, right? So when we look at total revenue, again, that's not just something for operations or for finance or for GM to look into, not just something for sales or revenue. Every all of those revenue generating teams can have good inputs in terms of total revenue, right? So it's really important. And I think it's a big trend that's already happening here for our customers, but I believe it's a big trend for the future is looking at not just your room revenue, right? But also your total revenue, right? And looking also, what are the different areas inside your hotel that are having a good or negative impact on that total revenue. In a scenario where I personally believe artificial intelligence is going to take care of a lot of the pricing decisions, a lot of the distribution decisions, revenue managers, sales manager, marketing managers, they need to be more strategic, right? And they need to be more strategic towards total revenue being generated in a hotel or a group of hotels, and understanding total revenue is very important for it, because then you can have inputs from marketing in how can we make our FAB better in generating revenue, right? You can have inputs from sales. These kinds of groups, they normally are associated with bigger conference room booking, or they use more catering. So we're going to invest more of our focus in these types of events to bring more of these types of events and groups for hotel. Revenue managers can give their inputs also in terms of segments versus outlets, how that's looking like, and what kinds of segments we want to bring to increase our total revenue, right? So that's a huge trend we see That's already happening for us. Another big trend is automating the data collection and reporting, right? One thing that's a huge struggle, it was a huge struggle for me as a revenue manager, that I'm sure is a huge struggle for a lot of you guys, is being able to collect multiple sources of data, compile all of those things, treat that data, and then report. That's right now a very manual workload in a lot of teams. And that takes times out of decision. If you're not manually building reports, you have time to make more strategic decisions, right? So being able to collect different data sources and report automatically, it's very, very important. And we believe that the right strategy can be supported by artificial intelligence, especially in summarizing data and giving very quick real-time insights rather than you guys having to go over multiple reports, multiple dashboards to make decisions. So AI will be able, well, is already able to do that, summarize all those data points and give you a quick explanation and a quick summary on what's happening, right? And again, analysis can't just be like, we're going to do an end of the month analysis, right? We're going to just revise last quarter. Analysis have to be, where can we invest our money, like in terms of marketing? What kind of campaigns can we do? What is the potential demand for the next 2-3 months, day by day, week by week? What is the right distribution strategies, pricing strategies for that demand pattern that we're looking like? What's the ideal price we should have for different segments? All these are decisions that are combined between sales, revenue, and marketing. And right now we see a lot of siloed decisions. Marketing making their decisions, revenue manager are making their statistical decisions, they're adjusting their forecasts, and sales is focusing in corporate business and groups, but they're not unified in one strategy, right? And that's what we believe is the future, with technology being a fundamental stone of that analysis and being able to serve different departments in that purpose, right? And one thing that's already a reality for a lot of our customers is what I just mentioned a few minutes ago, which is artificial intelligence summary, right? Imagine you have a forecast report versus budget versus you're on the books. You want to understand your segment report. You want to understand everything that's in there. Imagine you receive an email every day saying, "Hi, Bob. Yesterday our pickup was X, Y, and Z. We need to look into our corporate segment because it's performing below last year. If we keep trending the way we're trending in terms of pickup, our forecasts are going to be X amount of money, and that's going to be 2-3% above budget, right?" Imagine you don't need to really dig into data to get at that conclusion. Artificial intelligence is looking at that data and giving you all the summary, right? That's a big shift on how we do business, because all those hours and hours we spent, first of all, treating, compiling, organizing manual reports, and then understanding all that data to make decisions, all that will come ready and summarized for us, powered by narrative artificial intelligence. And last but not least, benchmarking. We are in a competitive world. We compete against other companies. We compete against other hotels. If I'm looking at a sports team, whatever the sport is, I want to say, okay, that sports team has 10 victories and 5 losses. Is that good or bad? I don't know. We need to look at the standings. That team is on off place in the standings. Probably that's not that good. So what I'm trying to say is, just looking at all the other elements. Oh, we're doing a great job in predicting demand. We're pricing accordingly. Our distributions are quick and agile. We're making the adjustments. We're analyzing all the metrics, the KPIs. We're doing a good job. Yeah, maybe you're growing 10% a year over year. That's great. But let's look at what the market is doing, right? Maybe the market is growing 25. And then maybe you just serve the good wave of demand without being able to maximize your market share accordingly. So benchmark is very, very important, right? And benchmark have a few elements, right? First of all, it helps you understand your true competition, right? It's not because comp set of hotels was set 10 years ago, because the hotels are around you, that they keep competing for the same demand. There's other things happening in your markets. There's other competitors in your market. So having a look at not just on your comp set, but also on a more dynamic source of comp set, and even what's happening in the market in terms of performance. Remember when we talked about predicting demand? So when we look at predicting demand, we're looking at pre-booking data. That's a potential demand that has not yet been materialized. But if among that you're looking at how that demand is materializing in terms of bookings on your market or on your dynamic comp set, that's going to tell you a full story that, look, there's this potential demand for March, and I'm looking that for these days, demand is starting to materialize. And then I can take actions on it. And I can even evaluate my own performance in capturing that demand or capturing that demand at a right price. So real-time competitive intelligence benchmark is, for us here, one of the most important, if not the most important trend moving forward for the future. I personally really love, and I think we as a company, we believe, which is having a more dynamic approach to your comp set, right? Not just saying those 4 hotels, this hotel's open for 20 years, their competitors are open for 20 years. Since then, all competitors on my comp set is static. It's exactly the same. Being able to look at different stuff like distance, like base rate, maybe review score, maybe amenities, right? It's very important for you to set and look into different kinds of competitors that, again, we can't teach the guests. We can't say, look, guest Ricardo, my competitors are A, B, C. So when you're searching, please only search those hotels, right? That's impossible to do. So having a more holistic, dynamic approach to comp set is very, very important because it tells you a bigger and broader story than just looking at your competitors. So we believe a lot in that concept, and that's why in our benchmark tool, we allow that selection and that dynamic of choosing the impact of competitors and also attributes of different competitors to really be what we call a smart comp set, be really dynamic and tell you a broader story on what's really going on in the market, right? So if you look at market performance, let's say market occupancy, how your market is doing for March, you look at a broader level of competitors, and you look at your own performance and your own strategies by analyzing, and then you look at demand potential, you have the full story what's going on in your market. You understand exactly what's going on in a destination. That's going to drive a lot of your decisions. So key takeaways here from this session today. I know there's a lot of questions here in the chat. I'm going to try to cover one or two. If we don't have time, we'll be answering those questions shortly after, okay? So key takeaways for us here is, first of all, bring your commercial teams together, right? That's one of the most important things is make marketing, revenue, sales, distribution, operations work together in a common and unified goal, right? Understand that demand forecasting has changed a lot, and that looking into forward-looking data and pre-booking data is the key and one of the most important elements of understanding future demand. And then all the decisions have to be driven by data, right? We are in a world full of data, and data is available for everyone, and data is the best source to make decisions moving forward. So, but if you're spending a lot of time, I can't keep up with manually generating reports, so I have to make a decision. My report is not ready. I'll probably do that decision based on experience or feeling, whatever. It has to be made by data, right? And again, it's written here in the near future, but for us, for our customers, that's already happened. AI is powering a lot of pricing, forecasting, and even the data summary decisions that we're making. Probably the most important takeaway is break the silos. Make your teams, use technology to break those silos, to put all those teams to work together, building a common goal based on, the outcome and profitability of the hotel. Again, it doesn't have to be only known metrics for room revenue or for revenue generating. It has to be based on total revenue and profitability. So break those silos. Use technology as the fundamental stone to break those silos, right? And measure the performance of that commercial team and commercial strategies unified. I would like to thank everyone for being here with us this afternoon, morning, night, whatever the time zone is for you. We appreciate your time. It's been a pleasure to be here once more, serving Lighthouse, presenting this webinar. It's the topic that I love most speaking about, and I think these are really valuable concepts and ideas you can bring back and look into how you can improve and how you can do better in terms of those elements isolated, but more importantly, how those elements work together. So thanks a lot once more. It's a pleasure to be here. It was a pleasure to be here for these a little bit more than 30 minutes, and we'll see you guys soon.